Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speak Your Truth. This is the podcast where we pull back the curtains and reveal the real truth about God and about business and about whatever topic we're talking about. Hi, I'm Arvee Robinson. I'm the Master Speaker Trainer, international speaker, and author of Speak Up, Get Clients. And we have a really great show for you today. As a matter of fact, I have a very special guest today. His name is C.J. Gilbert. Now, C.J. Gilbert has been a website developer for over 20 years, and he's also a speaker and an author. And he teaches business owners how to use their websites as their #1 business tool so they can make more money and serve their clients better, faster, and easier. CJ empowers entrepreneurs and speakers and coaches and consultants and authors to spread their unique message and gifts, and therefore collectively help millions. So welcome, CJ.
Thank you.
Welcome. So first of all, I just want to ask you, what do you mean by therefore collectively help millions? Millions what? Million people, $1 million, what? Tell us.
All of the above, but I especially was thinking about helping millions of people. You know, I realize I've been in business now since 2004 approximately, so a little over 10 years, and I plan to be in business for many more years. And I personally will probably not be hired by 1 million people to work on their website or their business. But what my work is really doing is to serve other people's business, and other people's businesses are therefore serving their community, their people. So the way I look at it is I'm empowering small business owners and entrepreneurs and speakers and coaches and authors. I'm empowering them so that their message can reach an even greater audience. And that's how I'm able to collectively help millions.
Okay, so it's kind of like the ripple effect?
Exactly like that.
Stone and the ripple effect. Awesome. Excellent. So tell us, CJ, how did you get into the business? How did you become the web developer that you are today?
Yeah, it's been a journey, right? It's been a lifelong journey. You know, it's not a surprise to many that I've been a geek all my life. I've always been into computers and how they work and technology, and I've been playing with computers since I was very young. I like to tell people I was on the internet before it was the internet. You know, before the internet was around and we could all just plug into it, you would have to dial up another computer. You'd have a modem that would dial another computer, and the computers would connect directly, and you could exchange messages or files, or what would become email was the form of messages. What would become message boards and forums existed in that form, and even games, text games and things like that through these central computers that would act as a server. So it was in 1995, really, when the internet was born, and I was in high school at the time, and I had a friend of mine. Her dad owned a computer company here locally where I live in San Diego, and it was 1995, and he needed some people to work on websites for his clients. He was a computer guy that mainly helped real estate agents and small businesses in the area. So he kind of appointed me and my 2 best friends to be his web development team, and that's when I started building websites, serving small business owners, and I was tinkering with it. You know, that's when I got started, but I tinkered with it throughout high school and college. I was pre-med for a while, studied medicine, biology. I got to travel a little bit. That was very exciting. After that, you know, you try out a couple different professions. I tried banking for a couple months. That really wasn't for me. I managed to get into the insurance industry and was there for many years. So I worked first for Geico Direct for about a year and a half, went on to work for AAA, the Auto Club of Southern California, also for a year and a half, studied a lot in sales, learned a lot from studied masters like Thomas Hopkins, and others in the sales industry, Zig Ziglar, and a lot of these professionals. And so learned a lot about that. Then I grew weary of the sales pressure, constant pressure to sell when you're in that kind of a job. And so I was fortunate that I could take what I was doing and pivot it into an inspection aspect. So other people were selling the insurance policies or they were renewing. I would just get the request to drive out. I had a Jeep Wrangler, so I got to drive all over San Diego in my Jeep. And basically I would go out and make sure the house still existed, take a picture back when we used to use cameras for pictures, and take a picture of the house, make sure it was still standing. Yep, has a roof. Yep, it's right here at this address, that kind of a thing. So it was a lot of fun. Had to master, dealing with the public, dealing with people in this kind of a job, learned a lot about customer service, how to interact with others, how to communicate. And then one day I was inspecting a house, actually in my local neighborhood, pretty close here in La Mesa, and I'd already done the inside of the house. I was headed out. They had a wooden deck. Headed out on this wooden deck. There's some stairs going down, and I'm headed down to the bottom to check out the foundation of that house. And as I went down those stairs, there was a loud crack, and I fell right through those stairs.
Oh, dear.
And that is how I fell out of the insurance industry.
How so?
There was a lot of, there was a lot of pain, messed up my back and my knee, became a extended fan of chiropractic because my chiropractor at the time helped get everything right back where it should go, and the healing took place. And through that process, through that pain, came something else. And it was through this kind of them counseling me and coaching me. Well, you can't hike all over San Diego right now, right? You can't walk. What else can you do? And I said, well, I know how to build websites. And they said, that's a perfect opportunity. And they sent me down for some retraining. I went down to a local college here, got a certification in multimedia technology and design, or whatever they called it. And I officially opened up my own business in 2004 and called it Gilbert Studios. So I've been serving business owners and entrepreneurs since then, full-time, under my own name.
Wow, brilliant. So you've been into the internet and everything from day one. I didn't realize it started back in 1995. I didn't remember when it started. And you did websites then.
Yes.
And then you circled back around and then do them full time. That's amazing. That's an amazing story.
Thank you.
All right. So let's go. Let's talk about, so that's amazing. Let's talk about in all of this, besides the steps and falling out of the insurance company, what is the biggest lesson since 2004, since you've had your own business with your whole website design? What's the biggest lesson that you have learned?
That's a great question. I think that what I've learned is how it's amazing. Let me start here. It's amazing when you're in an industry, you study about that industry. So like I was saying before, studied all about sales, learned everything I could about sales, learned everything I could about customer service and how to deal with people and work with people. And then I had a business, right? That's my own business. So you have to learn how to run a business and how to be an entrepreneur. And through that process, there's a moment where you realize, okay, I know how to do this skill. I have this task. I can perform this service. I can create this product, whatever it might be. But in addition to doing that, now I'm also running a business, which in and of itself is its own entity. So now you're doing two things, right? You're doing your skill and your task and your profession that you're good at, but then you're also having to run a business on top of it. So that's when I started learning about business and entrepreneurship and all these other aspects about it.
And did you jump in, or did you get a mentor to help you?
I did both. I jumped in, and I also studied everything and everyone that I could find. And there's amazing people in our industries that specialize in helping others. And I absolutely, the first mentors were in the form of books that I read, right? All these great books like Think and Grow Rich and The E-Myth by Michael Gilbert, an excellent book on how to think about constructing your business.
Well, and creating systems.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
One of the first things I did when I left corporate America is I did get a mentor. I got a mentor for an entire year, and it just so happened I didn't go, oh, I need a mentor. I didn't even know what I didn't know, but I was at a seminar right before I think I left corporate America, and this guy was a marketing guy, and we were talking, and I had signed up for his program, but he didn't really have the program. He was just testing. And then he, called me later and said he'd mentor me.
Yeah.
Private coaching once a week for an entire year. And he threw a website in there with that. That was the clitcher.
Got it.
But if I hadn't had a mentor, I probably would have gone back to corporate America, because you don't know what you don't know about an entrepreneur. And you're right. You're everything, not only your skill, but now you're doing accounting, and the hardest thing I think for an entrepreneur, especially one that works like myself from home, is that discipline of time.
Absolutely.
Discipline of time. I mean, I tell myself I have to be in my desk by a certain time, but then something happens and people think because you're home that you've got all this time.
Right.
Hey, you want to go to lunch, or can I come over, or what? It's like, I'm running a business here.
Right. Yes.
When it
exactly
comes
like
to
that.
what is your biggest, like mine is discipline of time, really making sure that, I say no, that I stay at my desk, that I work, that I don't go and, like women do a load of laundry or something while they're working. What is your, distraction, or just, discipline that you need to really make yourself do every day as a business owner?
You know what? I think the thing that I do every day that helps me the most is the thing I can talk about with you on this podcast. And that is the very first thing that I do every single day is spend time reading the Bible and going through a lesson plan.
Well, that's good. And that creates your attitude and mood for the day.
Yes, exactly right. Exactly right. And it gives you something to think about as you go through your day. And isn't it always the truth that when you're thinking about something particular, you find that thing appearing in your life, whether it's because it happened because you thought of it, or just you noticed it because you were already thinking of it. But nonetheless, it's something that you see throughout the day.
Right. Wow. Okay. Well, good. That takes discipline. All right. So how are you getting? This is, for the Christian Speakers Movement, and it's all about speaking. And I know you're a speaker now. How are you getting your message out?
As far as speaking or getting speaking engagements, or all of the above?
As far as getting your message out that you are, the world's best web designer, how are you getting that message out?
Absolutely. The first place that I went was to local networking groups, local networking opportunities. There's two kinds of networking groups. For anyone listening or watching this, there's two kinds of networking groups you can look into: an exclusive group and a non-exclusive group. So an exclusive group is something like LaTip or BNI, or Arvee may have some examples of this from her area, where you're only allowed one person per business category. What are some of the groups that you know of like that?
Well, like team referral network.
Yes, exactly. So I think everybody should join one of those groups. And per the laws and the rules of that group, you can only join one of those groups. Right. So absolutely find the group, visit a couple of them, see where you fit the most and the people that you're associating with. Find that group and plug in there. That's the first thing to do. And then the second thing is you can also find non-exclusive networking groups. These are just open groups that are not category specific. They welcome multiple realtors, multiple lenders, multiple bankers, that kind of a thing. There's no exclusivity. And join as many of those groups as you can. So you have your one exclusive group, you have your multiple non-exclusive groups. And when you're just getting started, maybe you have more time to, because if you don't have the business coming in, you have more time to go out looking for the business. So maybe you can do a lot more of that in the beginning. And as you get more business, you'll have to manage your time, as we were just talking about. But that's the best place I've found to jump in right away, start meeting people, and start getting speaking opportunities. Because when you're a member of a group, you have the opportunity to speak at it. Maybe you're the featured speaker. Maybe they do that once per week, or they have something per month or something like that. So I started speaking at those groups as often as possible. And you start to find more and more of those groups. So now I'm speaking at first it was one, and then it was a couple, maybe 2 or 3. Now there's 4 or 5 or 6 groups that I go to, and I was talking with someone on the phone yesterday. We were having a coaching session. In fact, she was coaching me on my social media. So I am actively getting coaching, more open to that than ever before now that we're talking about it. And she was like, so how many groups do you do, or you're speaking at, or you're leading? And I realized, well, it's this one every week. It's this one every week. It's these 3 every other week. And I think it was like 10, 12 meetings or 14 or something like that per month. And I was like, wow, I didn't realize how many it was until we started talking about it like that.
Right. And that might be a little too many.
It might be. It might be. Yeah.
If you're getting business, great. If you're getting speaking opportunities, but if they're just, to go to socially, then there's probably other things you can do. Use your time, because going to any networking event is expensive. It's time to get there. It's time to, most of them are over food, time, spent, because you're going to get early, you can be there early, stay late. So I would find some, maybe I would say 3 or 4 groups that are really serve you. Because even the Christian speakers group that this podcast is for, once a month, and that month rolls around pretty fast.
Yeah.
And it's a non-exclusive group, just like your Chamber of Commerce or something like that. It's non-exclusive. But always look at your ROI and the time that you're spending, and for it, and membership and all that kind of stuff. And this is for everybody, not for you, because it sounds like you can manage it. You're managing it fine, but be careful. That's a lot of groups.
Absolutely. And I want to share a quick win with you, Arvee, that I haven't even told you yet. We haven't even spoke about this recently.
Okay, tell me.
There's a group that meets every couple weeks, and they have multiple chapters, and I've been heading up one of their chapters for the last couple weeks, and I told you about that one. But last week, there's another group I go to every week, which is quite big in San Diego. And last week, he asked me officially if I would lead that meeting from that moment forward. So I led the last Friday meeting, and I'm going to be doing it every week moving forward.
Wow, so you're going to be the leader.
Correct. I'm going to be the MC, if you will, of the event.
Good for you. Yay. That's always a great way to get visibility. Be the MC.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's moved, it's a progression, right? It's moved from attending the meetings to speaking at the meetings as often as possible, to now leading a couple meetings and having an even greater platform of visibility.
Absolutely. Make sure you give yourself a little shameless promotion each time.
Absolutely.
All right. So now tell us, who's made a difference, the biggest difference in your business?
The biggest difference in my business. I think being open to growing and learning more information. As we've mentioned, I've started off with reading a lot of really great books, and then you meet really great people and you work with really great people. And just, when you're open to it and you're seeking, you find the answers, right? What's the expression? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear, or something like that.
That's it.
My networking led me to meet a really amazing gal named Rachel, and she introduced me kind of to the concept of networking, business networking, and took me to a few non-exclusive groups, which is how I got into that side of it. And then she introduced me to the person who was her business coach, Mr. Ken Foster, and he led me to be introduced to Miss Arvee Robinson.
That's right.
That's how it all comes around.
We met at a seminar that he was putting on.
Yes.
In San Diego. And that was, how many years ago was that?
It was many years ago. I want to say it was 2007.
Wow. Because you were already doing web design.
Correct.
2007. Wow, that's over 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Wow, woohoo! That's a long time, but you got to get out there in the world, that's for sure. Yeah. So our time is almost up, CJ. So tell us a little bit about, what would you like to leave your listeners with? Like, what is the message that you want to tell our listeners about websites, about business, about how you do business, whatever it might be?
Absolutely. A website is one of those things that most business owners know that they need to have, right? You need a business card, you need a website. There's, they kind of throw it in with these things I need to make sure that I have, but they may not give it a lot of thought. And so my encouragement for you is to think of it a little bit differently. In this day and age, a website is more important than ever because everything that we're doing now is online. Right? And in this age of social media and, I want to be on Facebook and I want to be on YouTube and I want to be on Twitter and I want to be on Instagram, those are all great places to be. And people ask me all the time, well, is a website really important anymore since we have all these other things? And I say, yes, a website is more important than ever. And here's why. Because on the whole realm that is the internet, a website is the only thing that you can own and control yourself as a business owner. Everything else, you're subject to the whim of that company and that website and what they're going to do. And if you're putting all your eggs into one basket, that may not be the smartest thing. If all you're doing is Facebook marketing, Facebook advertising, what happens if Facebook, there's no hidden news here or leaked secrets, but what happens if that company closes or merges or, you just never know what's going to happen tomorrow, right? So you absolutely should be on all of those places, every one of them. If you can be on video, YouTube, you've got to be on YouTube these days. Facebook is great. Instagram is huge. Be on all those places, but have a website that you fully control because it's the only thing on the internet that belongs to you that you can control all of the content on.
Right. And not only that, CJ, but people still do research on people and businesses, and there are employers that will go to Facebook and Instagram and try to find you and that kind of thing. But business to business owners, we go to each other's website.
Yes.
So if I get a prospect, I go to the website to make sure that, I know a little bit more about them. And it's not just to know about them, but I'll tell you, I've lost business in the past because I didn't. So I had a strategy session several years ago with someone, business owner, a serious woman business owner. And, some typical questions I ask, of course, is tell me a little bit about your business. Well, this gal was like, well, did you go to my website? And I said, no. And she's like, well, then you're not ready for this call yet. We've got to reschedule. Clink. And I was like,
wow.
I know.
Wow.
And so, I did do the research and we did have our strategy session, but I didn't get her business. And I think it's even up to today, it's because I didn't do that research. And that was one of these kind of people that she didn't want you to waste your time and she wanted you to do research. So now every time I have a prospect, if they have a website, I go and see it. If they don't, okay, no big deal. But if they have a website, I not only go and see it and take notes, but I'm telling them, I went to your website. Yeah. I did my research.
Yeah.
Because it is impressive. People want you to care about them, So I have found that I've been able to close more sales because I've done research prior to my strategy session because of the website.
I would love your permission to share that story. That's a great story.
Of course, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, true story. So ever since then, I'm doing my research.
Yeah, and people it's funny because human nature, right? People love to do the research to feel like they've done some kind of due diligence. But on the other hand, they're super busy, they're pressed for time. So I don't want to say they're lazy, but some people are. So it's like they want to do something, but they don't want to spend too much. So if you can create your website, tailor it to what you want them to find and hand it over to them, they're getting fulfilled on that. I've done my due diligence piece and they've met you. And the whole point of the website that I preach is it's a place where they're getting to know you. They're becoming familiar with you. And that directly influences them when it's time to make that buying decision. When they're already familiar with you, they're that much closer to doing business with you.
Absolutely. And as a researcher, you want to find something on the website that is familiar or that's similar so you can make that connection with them.
Absolutely.
Oh, you have dogs. Oh, I have dogs. Like attracts like. So it's so important. So yes, everybody has to have a website. Now, if they can't afford a big fancy website, CJ, what do they do?
There's a lot of options out there where you can get yourself a free website. And I don't have any problem with someone going to Wix, Squarespace, Weebly, one of those tools, even something like Tumblr you can use to create your own website on. Use some of those free tools. If that's all you can afford and you need to do it yourself, do it yourself. And come to my website. I've got some free resources for you to check out. I'll share with you my webinar, maybe even get you a copy of my book, because I want the information that I have to share to be in the hands of every business owner, regardless of whether you can actually ever hire me to build you a website. But it goes beyond that. I want you to have this information to make your website better, to make your business work better, so that you can serve and reach more people.
And again, for you to do that ripple effect and help more people.
Exactly.
How do people get a hold of you? How do they get those free resources?
Absolutely.
Share.
Absolutely. Come on over to my website, gilbertstudios.com. My last name is Gilbert, Gilbert, Studios, Studios.com, gilbertstudios.com. I've got a link right on that homepage where you can go check out my webinar. And I'll spoil the ending. If you sign up for my webinar, I also give you a free digital copy of my book. So it's all inside there for you.
And the book title is?
It's the 5 Golden Keys to Sharpen Your Website.
Nice. Great. Excellent. All right, CJ. Well, we need to end. Thank you so much for coming and being here today.
Thank you.
And sharing this great information. And I just want to end with this, and that is, remember, it's John 8:32. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.